Hi there, my name is Lucy from Japan and welcome back to my channel. Today I will talk again about Prince Hisahito's paper. As I have talked about in the past videos, his academic paper on dragonflies was co-authored with 3 researchers, including Hisahito himself. Prince Hisahito is the first author of this paper, and it is said that this paper is intended to be an achievement-making document as a recommendation for Hisahito to enter the University of Tokyo or other top-class state university equivalent to the University of Tokyo in April 2025. But people's questions are, as a co-author, how we can know his contribution to this paper. Given that Mr. Takuya Kiyoshi is a professional in insect research and published a paper of almost identical structure on the dragonfly fauna of the Imperial Palace in 2014, in my opinion, it is natural to assume that the majority of the paper was written by Mr. Takuya Kiyoshi, not Prince Hisahito. The second author, Ken Iijima, is an officer of the Imperial Household Agency, and according to the press report, he is Hisahito's tutor. He is an expert on lice cultivation, not dragonflies. Mr. Iijima used to be a researcher at the National Agriculture and Food Research Organization, a national research institute in Tsukuba City, Japan. He was then headhunted as Hisahito's tutor. The problem here is that Hisahito's personal tutor is hired as an officer of the Imperial Household Agency, which is 100% maintained by tax money. If he is Hisahito's private tutor, he should be employed by the Akishino family at their personal family expense, not by the taxpayers. And hiring him as an officer of the Imperial Household Agency to tutor Hisahito is a mix of public and private. Every family pays for their children's tutors out of their own personal money. And since the Akishino family receives a large amount of imperial allowance from the government, which is about $838,000 per year, and in addition to the imperial allowance, they receive some amount of money, so-called travel allowance, every time they attend the ceremony. Travel allowance means a travel expense, but it is not the actual amount of the travel expense which cost, but a large amount of chips, and it is said the money the family receives is about $7,000 per day per person. An actual travel expense of their visit to the ceremonies are all arranged and paid by the Imperial Household Agency, which means their travel expense are paid by tax money. So the travel allowance of $7,000 per day per person is 100% profit and no need to declare it to the tax office. This travel allowance is not something for which there are rules and not openly approved. It is an old practice and that has been practiced rather informally and secretly by the groups that have invited the Imperial family. The Akishino family has been showing up at so many events all over Japan to get this travel allowance. I think this old practice should be abolished. Anyway, under these circumstances, countless amount of money will be kept in the Akishino family's vault. So I think they should at least pay for the tutors out of their own pocket money. I wonder why we have to pay for Prince Hisahito's private tutor by public tax money. And about the travel allowance, please let me make it clear. Emperor and Empress and Crown Prince and Crown Princess are strictly prohibited to receive this kind of travel allowance from any organization because they need to be neutral and equal to all of us. And this is why Prince Akishino and his wife Kiko introduced themselves as Crown Prince and Crown Princess to overseas, but in Japan, they refuse to become Crown Prince and Crown Princess officially. They want to stay their position, which can receive travel allowance from many organizations. However, Prince Akishino and his wife are treated as crown prince and princess with respect to imperial allowance. Prince Akishino is receiving 3 times as much imperial allowance money as he used to be. And people are criticizing that Akishino family that their imperial allowance has been tripled. But they are still receiving travel allowance from so many organizations. The Japanese people are suffering from higher taxes, and I wonder why Japanese politicians allow such a double take of allowances of Akishino family. Anyway, now I go back to the topic of the academic paper. The fact that the second grade high school student co-authored a paper with a dragonfly researcher at his time to enter the University of Tokyo by recommendation entrance system has been criticized as an abuse of Hisahito's imperial privilege. Because commoner high school student cannot be a co-author of academic paper with a leading expert in such a field, and only members of the imperial family are allowed to enter the Akasaka Imperial Gardens where the research takes place. If Hisahito wins a recommended admission slot at the University of Tokyo by co-authoring a paper with a top researcher, it will look like Hisahito cheated again in the eyes of other students. However, recently, some oddities have been pointed out regarding the contents of the paper. The paper emphasizes that it is a great discovery to find a Siberian winter damselfly, which is ranked as an endangered species on the red list of Tokyo Metropolitan District within the Akasaka Imperial Gardens. But there are some unnatural aspects in the recorded photographs of Siberian winter damselfly that have led someone to question whether this dragonfly was really alive. In other words, it is suspected that Hisahito may have placed a dead or dying dragonfly and photographed it in order to fabricate his great achievement of finding Siberian winter damselfly at Akasaka Imperial Gardens. I will explain these oddities by enlarging the photo used in the paper, and I am asking about the opinion of some overseas entomologists about this unnatural aspect of dragonfly photo in his paper. If these professors gave me any comments, I would like to share this comment with you. Okay, now let's take a look at the oddities. Number 1. Dragonfly perched on the ground. This dragonfly usually perches on a tree branch or a dead leaf growing on a tree. There may be cases where it happens to perch close to the ground, but this dragonfly is colored similar to tree branches and dead leaves to hide its own appearance from enemies. So they usually perch on tree branches that are similar in color to their bodies. Also, generally speaking, if a dragonfly is perched on the ground, it's probably in a weakened or dying state. So it seems unnatural that the photographed dragonfly perches on the green grass very close to the ground. Number 2, dragonfly's legs are asymmetrical. When we look at other photos of the same species of dragonfly while it is still alive and captured in a tree, we can see that the legs of the dragonfly are always in a symmetrical position. However, the legs of the dragonfly in Hisahito's paper are not symmetrical, and it looks as if humans have forced the dead dragonfly to perch at the grass in order to make it look as if it is still alive and perched in the grass. Number 3, something like glue or connectors can be seen at the joint between the head and body of the dragonfly. Compared with the photographs of real live dragonflies, the connection between the head and body of the dragonfly in Hisahito's paper looks unnatural, as if it is connected by glue or some kind of connector. In addition, the dragonfly in Hisahito's paper has a lowered tail and bent waist, so that the body and tail are not in a straight line, and the tail is touching the ground, as a living dragonfly has a straight line from the body to the tail. Number 4. Insect pin on the ground. Around its tail, something like a metal pin with a round head is sticking on the ground. It is like supporting the tail of this dragonfly. The diameter of this pin is estimated to be 0.4 to 0.5 mm, and it seems to be the metal pin used for insect specimens. It is my suspicion that the metal pin was used to hold the dead dragonfly in place so that it would not fall over while being photographed by holding it to the grass growing out of the ground. It would be very dishonorable, and it should never happen if they fabricate this great discovery in their academic paper. I wish that the young members of the Imperial family will not make up such a fabrication. But, in my opinion, the most frightening thing is that many Japanese people already think that Hisahito would do it. In the past, Hisahito has won award for plagiarized essay, and even after the plagiarism was discovered, he never said a word of apology or declined the award, and entered into one of Japan's top-class high schools using the recommendation entrance system. In addition, since he was a child, Hisahito has been presenting crafts that he could never have made by himself, claiming that he had made all of them by himself. Therefore, many people now believe that Hisahito would cheat with no guilt. So he is suspected to fabricate the great discovery by making a dead dragonfly appear to be alive. The trust of the Japanese people in Hisahito and the Akishino family is so low. I believe that this is the first time in a long history of the Japanese Imperial family that there have been a heir to the throne who is so untrusted by the Japanese people. What do you think? Please leave your comments below. That's all I'd like to say today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video. And if you'd like to know more about the truth of the Japanese Imperial family, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.